It was something that was uniquely crafted that no one else had. And that's you and I. You have a secret sauce that only you can produce and only you can create that makes you stand out and is different from everyone. Welcome to the Third Quarter Podcast. I am your host, Ace, and you know I am blessed by the best, but even better than that, so are you. And I'm so excited for today's pod when we are discussing all things comparison. Why it's stupid. It's stupid to compare yourself to somebody else. Compare your right now. Compare your chapter one. Compare your journey, your story to someone else. Why that's foolish. And on top of that, what are some of the pitfalls that come with that? But before we get started, I want to share one thing with you. The other day, I was working out, getting it in. You know how I does that. And this lady stopped me, and she said, "Hey, I just wanted to tell you before I leave that I really enjoy your podcast." And I said, "Well, thank you so much." And she said, "You know what I really like about it?" She said to me that I really enjoy it because when I'm listening to it, I don't really feel like you're talking at me or you are judging me. It feels like you're having a conversation with me and you're like a friend. You're in my living room, you're in my car, and it feels like we're having a one-on-one conversation. I said, "Oh, man, that means the world to me because that's exactly what I was going for." And I just wanted to share that with you because, I want to be perfectly clear. There are a lot of great podcasts out there that do amazing work where they have data, they have journalistic reviews, they have statistics, they have all these informative, resources that they use to go in alignment to what their belief system or whatever it is they're trying to get across in that particular episode. We don't do that over here. I am not, if you want stats, if you want data, if you want journalistic reviews, there are a lot of podcasts you can go to for that. This ain't the one. This is a podcast where this is a conversation between you and I. This is a real conversation. And I want this to feel like you and I are talking in the kitchen, in the living room, in the car, and I'm speaking to your spirit, okay? I could use stats and data to further drive home some points, but I don't want this to be a place where it's about numbers, I want this to be about people. And I'm not knocking any of those pods because I listen to a lot of them and I learn a lot of them. It's just that's not my lane. That's not who I am, right? I want to have a personal conversation where it feels like every listener is getting a unique experience with each listen of the podcast. So that made me feel good that that's how it's being received. And the second thing I want to say, if you're listening to the podcast and you're not following or subscribing, please take 60 seconds out of your day to do so. And I'm going to tell you why. I know I keep talking about this every episode, but I don't know that you really understand how important it is for podcasts like mine that are independent. We're not on a network or anything like that that's pushing us, that's marketing us. We are individually doing this, right? This is a community effort. And the more that you follow, the more that you subscribe, the more that you rate it 5 stars, if that's true to you, and you leave a nice review, it shows the algorithms that this is a podcast that is putting out quality content and people are engaging and receiving in it. And more people need to listen to this. So if we weren't independent and, we had other people that were backing us and financially backing us, it wouldn't be as big of a deal because we had someone doing it for us. But the fact that this is literally me, my producer, Kyle, and you. So working together is what's going to get this podcast not just grow, but to help other people that need what we have. So 60 seconds out of your day, please follow it, rate it, review it, and you won't hear it from me ever again. Okay. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode. We're talking about comparison and how stupid it is to compare yourself to somebody else. Now, when I say stupid, I mean stupid. It's stupid. But I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm not saying I'm stupid. I'm saying it is stupid to do that. I have compared myself a lot to other people in the past. And really, if I'm being transparent, not so in the far future. Future? Past, right? Like recently. And sometimes I believe when we're comparing ourselves to other people, there's a handful of reasons why we do that. You know, some of it could be we don't like where we're at. You know, we think we should be a lot further than where we currently are. Maybe this person had a better childhood than me, or they had better resources, or, they're this person or they're that. They come from this. They look like this. I look like that. There's a lot of different factors that come into play mentally that could cause someone to want to compare their progress or lack thereof to someone else. But at the end of the day, getting down to the brass tacks of why it's stupid to do that is because everybody is uniquely made, right? So if there's 8 billion so people on the planet, or whatever that number is a huge number. If everybody really sat down and made a decision that I'm not going to compare myself to anybody else, I'm going to run my race, right? Because I believe that we're all uniquely made and we all have a unique lane. So if there's 8 billion people on planet Earth, everybody has their own individual lane on this highway of life. And not only do you have your own lane in this highway, you also have your own unique vehicle that's customized for you, your ability, your butt cheeks, and your lane. And the more that we own our own unique vehicle and the more that we drive in our own unique lane, every desire of our heart, every dream, everything that we ever could want and can think of is along this way. And so if we all just really took the time to understand, like, there's really no reason to worry about and to focus on what someone else got going on, because I really have a lot going on. The problem is normally we don't see it up front, right? It's like working out. It's hard for people to get in shape. And you guys know, I've had my own transformation of losing over 50 pounds and counting. So I can firsthand give you insight that it's hard to build consistency with working out, because the results and the evidence of your hard work and sacrifice is seen down the road. And when you're going through a tough time, whether it's emotionally, mentally, relationally, financially, you tend to focus on what's happening right now. It's hard to see the forest from the trees. I guess that's the phrase or the thing that people say. So when you're in this space, I completely understand why it's easy to observe what's happening to the lane to your left, what's happening to the lane to your right. What is everyone else doing? What seems to be working for this person? What seems to be the way people are making money fast now? I get all of that. But when we decide to jump in other people's lanes, we discontinue, right? And we disconnect from what makes us uniquely different, special, and unique. We disqualify ourselves from our special sauce, right? One of my favorite movies growing up as a kid was Good Burger, right? Good Burger. They just had a sequel. I haven't seen it yet, but Good Burger 1 was fire. And part of the movie, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it yet, what is wrong with you? But Kel's character, right, he developed a secret sauce for the burgers. And in the movie, they were basically competing with this big, huge conglomerate of a burger place called Mondo Burger. And they were basically illegally making their burger patties bigger than normal. And that's how they were getting all this publicity and all this traffic and having all these customers because they were big and flashy, and their burger patties were enormous. They were Mondo burgers. But little old Kel, right, he had a secret sauce that he was putting on the burgers that he was keeping a secret. And once they finally promoted something that made them unique and different, their secret sauce, they shut down Mondo Burger because people had to have the sauce, right? It was something that was uniquely crafted that no one else had. And that's you and I. You have a secret sauce that only you can produce and only you can create that makes you stand out and is different from everyone, because we're not really supposed to be thinking that we're better than anyone. Like, I'm not better than you. If you're listening to this and you want to create a podcast and you haven't, and you're listening to mine, that doesn't mean that I'm better than you. It might just mean that I made some different decisions than you have. I'm operating differently than you, right? So when you own what makes you different, that makes you separate from everybody. So when everyone else is going this way, you're going that way. So you stand out more. And so when you understand what your special sauce is, you don't have to worry about what this person's doing or what's working over here, because you know that no matter what these lanes got going on, and they all have something special and unique and amazing, but they also don't have your special sauce. And what you're going to have to do, what I had to do, is you have to get out of your emotions and how you're feeling about your current situation, because it's how you're feeling about your current place is what's causing you to look somewhere else. And the trap is to equate that what's happening in this current moment of your life is an indicator of what's going to transpire for the rest of your life, when this is really just a season of life. Because there's probably something that this season needs you to get and to understand that's going to allow you to tap into your secret sauce at a much higher and efficient level, but it's just going to involve a little bit of pain and sacrifice right now. Again, to go back to the gym reference, you can go to the gym today and kill it and murder it, and you can leave the gym like, yo, I killed it today. I killed it. But you're not going to see the benefits of that until months down the line. So really what you're doing every time you're in the gym, you're building your tomorrow. You're not building your today. And that's why comparison is the thief of joy, because the thing that is for your tomorrow, you're robbing it of your today because you want it right now, but it's really for your tomorrow. The comparison is robbing you of your today. And so when you're looking at what someone else is doing and you're jealous and you're envious, or you're copying it, or you're like, well, they're making this kind of music and this is selling and they're doing tours and they're making money, I need to make music like this. No. That's their lane. And if they're in that lane first, odds are people are going to gravitate towards them because they've been in it longer. You may have this special lane and maybe your music doesn't sound like that. But remember, tastes change. You know, when I was in high school and college, the thing was auto-tune. It was, it was auto-tune. Everybody was auto-tuning. Everybody was tuning the auto. Then all of a sudden, this one dude that came out of nowhere named Jay-Z was just like, nah, deaf to that. He was like, we putting auto-tune. We putting that, we burying it. It's the deaf to auto-tune. It's the deaf to auto-tune. Holla. Then everybody that did auto-tune was out. Done. Because everyone that got into it, for the most part, was doing it because that was the trend. Everybody was seeing what was working. They were like, well, if I do auto-tune, I'm definitely going to get put on. But once auto-tune got taken out, most of the people that was using it was not in it no more. Because it wasn't their secret sauce. It was someone else's. And so when you're comparing yourself to someone else, really what you're doing is you're minimizing what makes you special and what makes you unique. Your destiny, my friend, is in your difference. What makes you different is going to make you get towards your destiny. The destiny is in the difference. It's not in the sameness. When you walk into a room, you should stand out. You shouldn't blend in. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't look like, sound like, walk like, talk like everybody else. You should be your own unique individual. And the sooner that you own what makes you unique, the sooner that you own what makes you special, and you go all in on that, and you double down, you triple down, you quadruple down on that, the world's going to bow down to your feet. Because there's no one in this world that is like you. And guess what? There's no one in this world that's going to be like you when you're gone. You are a one of one creation. So why would you take up so much headspace and focus on what everyone else is doing and robbing the world of a unique experience of you? You are the one. There's never going to be anyone like you again. So yes, like I said at the beginning, it's stupid to compare yourself to someone else because you are the only one like you. And the more that you're focused on and worried about what this person's doing, the more you're robbing the world of you. But not just robbing the world of you. You're robbing yourself of you. So, how do we stop comparing ourselves to other people? How do we stop? How do we put an end to this foolishness? The first thing you got to do is you really got to plant your flag. Put your foot down and say, I'm done. I had enough. Yep, I know this is where I'm at. I don't like it, but that's okay. I know I'm uniquely made and I'm uniquely qualified to go where I'm going. This is a season of life. This is not the end of my life. So I'm acknowledging the fact that this is my chapter 1 and I'm no longer comparing my chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. I'm only looking forward. I'm not looking east and west. It's only north from now. The first thing you have to do is you have to make a decision that you are no longer going to be looking to the left and to the right. It's straight only. That's the first thing. When I would coach kids in basketball, I had a 3rd and 4th grade basketball team that I coached, help coach, assistant coach, head coach sometimes, all coaches. And, I would tell them in practice, look, man, basketball is north and south. It's not east and west. The more that you're spending all this time making moves going east and west, the basket's north. The basket is straight ahead. It is not to the left and it is not to the right. It is not about how many moves you do. It's about making the least amount of moves going in a straight line. Forget about crossover left, crossover right, step back, around the back, pull the back, back to the back, to the back, to the back, lean back, lean back. Forget about that. Go straight. Go straight. Keep it simple. So the first thing you got to do is you got to focus on just going straight ahead. Okay, you don't like where you're at? Okay, but this is your own unique highway, okay? These detours on your lane, they're there for a reason. They're there for you. You have the only vehicle that can outlast these detours because it's your lane. And if these detours are in your lane, they're there for a reason. It's not there to stop you. It's there to mold you. It's there to refine you. Okay? So the first thing you have to do is you have to make a decision to stop it now. The second thing you have to do, and this is probably going to be the hardest thing for most of you because it was hard for me, especially when I was getting into potting, making a podcast, potting, that's what we say in the community, I'm potting. But the second thing you're going to have to do, what I would recommend, if you are following anybody on social media that is in your space or around your space and you're consuming their content, you need to unfollow them ASAP. And I know it's going to be hard, but I promise you the freedom that's going to come from that is going to blow your mind, because you'd be surprised about how much of what you do is coming from somebody else and how much of somebody else is blocking you from being you. Because you're a little insecure and because you're a little hesitant on your ability, you're consuming other people's content too much that you're losing your own voice. I cannot tell you how much of a blessing it is when you no longer have people that you're consuming content from that is robbing you of your own creativity because you guys are in the same space, right? So if you're potting and there's people who are potting about topics like you, I would unfollow them like ASAP, you know? Like if you want to get in shape and you're following people that are in shape, and every time you look at them, you get like unfollow them until you get to a point when comparison and envy and jealousy is no longer in your spirit. You got to detoxify yourself from these people and these and these people's content, because it's drowning. It's too much noise. You can't think straight, right? You're looking at this person, see what they're doing, and then you're trying to do it, and it's not working. And it's like, no, get rid of anybody and anything that sounds like you, feels like you, that is drowning you out. Unfollow them. Okay? So the first thing you have to do is you got to make a decision. The second thing you have to do is get rid of all the content that is kind of like yours, because it's blocking your creativity. Okay, so if you want to start making videos, you want to start making music, anybody that makes music like you, sounds like you, is in the same lane as you in terms of the genre of music, get rid of them. Like, you have to exist on social media as if you're the only person that exists in this space. And until you get to a place when other people that are kind of in your realm doesn't bother you, then you can start following people for inspiration. But I'm glad I said that, because before I move on to the last point is you have to stop saying that you're following people for inspiration, because you're not. Because if you were, you'd be doing it, and you're not. You're not following people for the inspiration. You're following people because you're kind of really jealous, because you're like, well, I'm more talented than them, or this person has that because of that. You're really following them out of envy. You ain't inspired. Stop saying that. I feel so inspired when I see that. No, you don't. You hate it. You hate it. So unfollow people that are around your lane, in your space. I promise you it's going to free up your creativity. And the last point I want to make is, if you want to stop comparing yourself and living a life of comparison, you have to start taking action on the thing that you do well. You have to start seeing yourself do the thing that you want to do. So I've been wanting to do a podcast now since like 2016, maybe even before that, right? I never took action on it, right? Because I didn't really see myself as someone that could do that. Because one thing, I was consuming so much podcasting content that it was drowning out my voice. And I was like, man, they have this kind of production and they have this thing. So I was like building barriers that didn't need to be there. But it wasn't until I actually started recording. I got producer Kyle, right? I got this. I invested. It wasn't until I hit publish that now I saw myself as a podcaster, a host of a show. You have to start taking action, whether it's small steps or huge leaps. You got to do something. One of the reasons why you're comparing yourself is because inherently and intuitively, you don't believe that you can do the thing that you want to do. So kind of you're living vicariously through the people that you're following. So once you get rid of the people that you're following, it's time for you to start taking action on the thing that you want to do. You have to see yourself do the thing. And once you see yourself do the thing, there's no reason to compare, because now you know, oh, snap, I'm really doing it. I'm really podcasting. I'm really making music. I'm really creating videos. I'm really losing the weight. You got to put yourself in the position to succeed. Like, one of the reasons why I love doing this podcast is because I want to encourage you to do the thing that you want to do so I can be a fan of you. Like, I don't want you just to consume my stuff so you can stay the same. I want you to consume my stuff so you can get to a place where I get inspired to buy your product, your service. I support your business, your podcast. I follow you. I subscribe to you. That's what I want. You have a book in your heart. You have a song in your heart. You have a podcast in your heart. You have something in your heart that you've been wanting to do, but it's been drowned out by lack of action and comparison. And it's time to put that in now. And I truly believe if you implement these actions ASAPery, over time, you're going to stop comparing yourself to other people, and you're going to be so invested, so attuned, and so, having so much attention and intention in what you're doing that you're going to look up and you're going to forget about the people that you followed. You're going to look up like, man, 2 weeks passed by, 3 months passed by. Look, I can't believe that, I've been potting now since March. It's flown by. It's flown by. And like, I'm in such a rhythm now where it's just like, this is just a part of who I am now. I love it because it's just me. It just flows out of me. It flows out because I'm in my vehicle. I'm in my lane and I'm doing me. I'm not worried about what someone else got going on. I'm not worried about who's number one because in my heart, we're going to be number one. And we're not going to be number one because my plan is to tear them down and to pass them up. I'm just like, yo, there's no one like me. So if there's no one like me and I'm being myself, I have no choice but to be number one because I am the only one. So stop comparing yourself. I really hope this episode spoke to your soul. And I really hope that if someone comes to mind that you share this with them because this episode can really change the game for someone. Don't be selfish with this pod. Share this pod with people. Share this because you'd be shocked about if you just made a decision to stop. If you got rid of all the content that is consuming your heart, that it's taken away from your own creativity, and if you start taking action on the thing that you want to do, you're going to be so in love and invested in you, you're not even going to care what's going on around you. I promise you that. So I hope this episode served you. I hope it helped you. I hope it spoke to you. And again, if you haven't taken the time to follow, leave a review, rate, share, please do all the things. Also, share the podcast on your IG stories. It really means a lot when I see everybody sharing it so other people can see it. Trust me, when you're independent and you're doing this thing solo dolo, all the shares, all the likes, all the reviews and ratings helps a ton. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. I love you so much. Be safe, be blessed. And this was the Third Quarter Podcast.